This is breaking news.
Following breaking news this morning, arson investigators are looking into a car fire on the South Hill. The call came in about 3:30 this morning. Crews were called to a car fire near 55th and Fisk. They say 2 cars were damaged, but they were able to keep that fire from spreading beyond that.
Take a look around the region this morning. From Yakima to the Tri-Cities and Spokane, it is cold everywhere. Believe it or not, Spokane is one of our warmest areas right now, and that's not saying a lot. We're still below freezing at 29 degrees. Clear night, though, led to that cold morning, allowing all that heat to escape. It is a beautiful morning, though. Don't let it fool you. Still grab that jacket. 25 in Yakima, 24 in the Tri-Cities, 29 in Spokane. Winds are light and the sun is shining. The one area we have a few clouds this morning is down toward the LC Valley. Could be a bit cloudier, especially through the first half of the day, but even those clouds, I think, are going to be working their way out. So let's get you a timeline of today. The next 12 hours in Spokane. A few clouds could move in, especially into the upper levels. Those wispy cirrus clouds could be over the top of us, but we are going to be staying dry as we look over toward the Tri-Cities. More of the same, more sunshine on the way today. High temperature could get up into the 60s. We're talking more about those high temperatures and the rain on the way coming up in just a few more minutes. Cly?
Justin, thank you. Let's get to another breaking news story this morning. We've just learned a 4th service member has died in the conflict with Iran. The Defense Department says the service member was seriously wounded during Iran's initial attacks and eventually succumbed to injuries. Also overnight, U.S. Central Command says 3 American fighter jets were accidentally shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses during active combat. They were flying in support of Operation Epic Fury against Iran. Central Command says Kuwaiti air defenses mistakenly shot down 3 F-15 Strike Eagle jets. All 6 aircraft crew members ejected safely. Kuwait has acknowledged the incident. And meantime, the U.S. and Israel's war with Iran is in its 3rd day. Fighting is spreading across the region. Reed Binion reports the latest on the conflict.
We have to see day by day what emerges.
Where does this go? In many ways, it's not up to the president, nor is it up to Netanyahu. It's up to the Iranians.
U.S. political leaders and military experts weighing in on what may lie ahead in the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran.
Look, this fight is going to go on until they capitulate and return to the negotiating table under different terms.
With Iran's supreme leader, defense minister, and other key leaders dead, the regime on Sunday formed a provisional leadership council. Iranian state media also releasing footage showing rows of drones in underground tunnels and mounted on rocket launchers. In addition to those killed in Iran and Israel since the start of the war, there have been deaths and damage in locations across the Middle East as Iran launches strikes targeting almost all of its neighbors. Many of them are U.S. allied Gulf countries. And Americans killed. U.S. Central Command announced that 3 U.S. service members lost their lives in Kuwait Sunday morning. President Donald Trump paying tribute to the fallen service members the same day.
As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation.
The president also acknowledging there could be additional U.S. casualties.
Sadly, there will likely be more before it ends.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
This morning, we're learning more about a shooting in Austin, Texas that left 2 people dead and 14 others hurt. Investigators say that the shooter was killed by law enforcement and may have been motivated by U.S. strikes on Iran. Police say 53-year-old Nadaga Dagni opened fire outside the bar early Sunday morning and had a history of mental illness. Investigators also say he wore a sweatshirt that said "Property of Allah" and a shirt underneath with an Iranian flag theme. He was shot and killed by police, and now investigators are working to figure out whether he was motivated by the war with Iran and whether the shooting was an act of terrorism. And that war could lead to an increase in gas prices here in the United States. Oil futures surged in early trading this morning, and at opening bell, they were still up. U.S. crude's about $8 a barrel to $75 now. Analysts say that could translate to gas prices rising more than 25 cents a gallon. And the Spokane Fire Department says that food left on the stove sparked an apartment fire on South Regal in Spokane. Firefighters say they got to the scene about 10:40 Sunday morning and kept the flames contained to the apartment. Spokane Fire Department says no one was hurt. The people who live there were able to return home. U.S. Marshals and Spokane County Sheriff's deputies arrested a convicted sex offender in Spokane Valley. U.S. Marshals Service says that they arrested Juan Ketchum February 27th near the 15,000 block of East 24th. Ketchum had a warrant for failing to follow probation terms and to register as a sex offender. He'd been convicted of rape and communication with a minor for immoral purposes. Time check now is 7:06, and with that, let's get a look at your Tri-Cities Yakima headlines with Lainey Erickson.
Good morning, I'm Lainey Erickson with your Tri-Cities and Yakima morning update. In Kennewick, the police department investigating an assault with a weapon in the 1100 block of West 10th Avenue, not far from Park Middle School or Heatherstone Apartments, where a 16-year-old boy was shot and killed back in December. Kennewick police officers are asking people to avoid this area if possible. That investigation still ongoing. A new roundabout coming to South Richland as development continues at Badger Mountain South. The project will be built at the intersection of Riata Road and the future Gage Boulevard extension, providing access to the growing South Orchard community. The city of Richland says construction is set to begin in early March, with work moving into the roadway by mid to late April. In Kennewick, a routine traffic stop turned into a race to the delivery room for a Washington State Patrol Trooper David Brandt. He pulled a driver over for speeding, but quickly realized a passenger was in active labor. He escorted the vehicle safely to Trios Hospital, making sure Mom got the care that she needed in time. Now, this isn't his first recognition. Brandt also received the Target Zero Award from the Washington Traffic Safety Commission for his work on seatbelt enforcement. For NonStop Local, I'm Lainey Erickson.
And in other headlines this morning, a 78-year-old man is recovering from serious burns after a fiery crash in Massachusetts. He was saved thanks to the quick action from police and two brothers who stopped to help. Body camera footage shows Officer Dean Sauchi and the brothers racing to pull the driver from his pickup. Police say that the truck hit a broken-down dump truck and then caught fire.
We did feel the heat of the fire as we approached. However, really there was no consideration for anything other than the individuals at that time.
A third car hit the pickup, but that driver wasn't hurt. The officer involved in the rescue says he was just doing his job, and he praised the brothers for stopping to help and for their bravery. An Australian photographer has been named Underwater Photographer of the Year for 2026. We're getting a look at the picture. Maddie Smith's award-winning photo shows a pair of southern elephant seal pups in a rock pool taken on the Falkland Islands, which is off the tip of South America.
Smith says the image was inspired by watching dozens of baby seal pups climbing over each other at the rocks at sunset. Smith's aptly named Rock Pool Rookies was among more than 7,900 entries for this award.
And other category winners included this, a Japanese Navy shipwreck. Amazing. And then also this, a female octopus guarding her eggs. How do you get that close? Must be an amazing camera.
This one's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah,
amazing camera. You got to be stealthy about it too, I think, right? I don't think the octopus is going to be happy about you there.
No, not at all. And then one more, the exact moment a clownfish egg hatches. Okay.
What I'm blown away by, 7,900 entries for best underwater photograph. I can honestly say I've never taken a picture underwater, and I don't know if I have plans to.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get a good picture on my cell phone because somehow my lens is always dirty.
Right, it's hard enough to take one up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, below the surface, it's got to be real tough.
All right, well, you got a picture of what the weather looks like for us.
That we do, and it's not looking bad at all today. Spokane is glowing this morning. We got some sunshine, more sunshine today, and we'll start off with a little sunshine tomorrow, but later we're talking about the rain moving in. We'll talk more about the timeline of the rain and your chances to see the eclipse tomorrow morning coming up.
And don't look down, a hot air balloon colliding with the cell phone tower, leaving passengers dangling in the wind 1,000 feet in the air. New video of the rescue next.
From the Toyota of Tri-Cities Sports Studio, this is SWX NonStop Local Sports.
Good morning, I'm Evan Davis. Former Tri-City Americans goaltender Brian Boucher made a name for himself in the NHL. Now he's taking the media world by storm. Coming off being an analyst for USA at the Olympics, I had a chance to speak with him on his transition from the crease to the big screen. After a successful NHL career, former Tri-City Americans and Philadelphia Flyers goaltender Brian Boucher has transitioned seamlessly into his new role as an analyst.
Fortunately for me, I've been able to get into this side of the business with TV and to be a part of the Olympic Games. I mean, it truly is, it's remarkable.
Boucher credits the Tri-City Americans for preparing him for the spotlight, helping shape his confidence and professionalism before the NHL.
I was fortunate to play in Tri-City, and we had some media attention, whether it be local news or the local newspaper. So, you're doing interviews, you're around media personalities, and so you kind of get exposed to it in that regard at a young age.
Boucher now works alongside longtime NHL veteran Eddie Olczyk, with the two forming a dynamic and insightful duo on the mic.
It's just been years of now working together. When we were first at NBC, when they had the NHL rights, to now at TNT, and then getting back together at the Olympics for NBC. We know each other's cadence. We know when we can jump in, when we can't. We understand when it's time for Kenny to take over as a play-by-play guy.
You can catch Brian Boucher on NBC Sports Philadelphia, NBC, and NHL on TNT multiple times throughout the week, bringing the highest level of analysis. Boucher has continued to call all of the biggest NHL games and doing it while providing commentary that allows for the casual fan to understand the high pace of the game. He truly is making the Tri-Cities proud. Now to high school basketball, a look ahead at our schedule. Kevin Rounce will be at the Tacoma Dome as district playoffs now move to state. Chiawana girls basketball fighting for their season on March 4th at 9 a.m. against Kennedy Catholic, while the boys, they will take on Puyallup at 3:45 p.m. also fighting for their season. I will be at the Yakima Dome. That's where you can see the Sela boys team. They take on Columbia River at 3:45 p.m. on March 4th. Followed by the Grandview Greyhounds. They take on the Foster Bulldogs. I'm Evan Davis, and this has been your SWX Sports Update.
Warm weather fans, you can start a little celebration today. We are officially in meteorological spring. Meteorological winter, just on the months December, January into February. As far as astronomical winter is concerned, that spring equinox doesn't come until March 20th, so still a ways to wait for that. But taking a quick recap here of our meteorological winter in Spokane, the average temperature 35.1 degrees. If it felt warm to you, it certainly was. That's the fourth warmest average temperature on record for those 3 months. Just checked on the Tri-Cities also. 40 degrees was your average temperature. That is the 8th warmest on record. So certainly warm, and as a result of that, snowpack struggled. We didn't get a ton of low elevation snow either. Had quite a bit of rain for many of us as we went throughout those winter months. Let's talk about what we're going to see ahead, though. There is more shower activity on the way in the forecast. Not today, though. Today is going to be a nice sunny day across the region. Temperatures relatively warm. Many of us in the 50s. Some of our warmer areas, looking at you in the Tri-Cities, have a chance to get up to 60 today. As we head into tomorrow, still relatively warm out there, but the next system's going to start to approach. Cold fronts coming through. That's going to pick up our winds just a bit, and then by tomorrow evening, those showers there are back over the top of us. Most of us seeing rain, even the mountains starting with some rain before transitioning over to snow around Wednesday. Wednesday will be our wettest day, then behind that, more hit and miss, unsettled shower activity is what we'll call it. But let's take a look at the high temperatures for today across the region. The sun is definitely going to help us out. There's that 60 potential in the Tri-Cities. Hermiston could get up into the 60s. We're not quite going to get there in Spokane. We'll be above 48 degrees. I think we're going to hit the low 50s today, which is where we'll also be into areas like Coeur d'Alene, 52 down toward the Palouse. The LC Valley, don't know that we'll get to 60. I think we're going to be just shy of it with that high temperature of 59 to kick off our work week here on our Monday. Still pretty cold, though, as we head overnight into tomorrow morning. Similar to what we saw last night, the sun goes down, that heat escapes right back up because there's not a lot of cloud cover. It cools us down quickly. Down to 40 in Spokane, 34 for our low temp, or 40, I should say, the Tri-Cities. 34 is going to be that low temperature in Spokane. Let's track the showers, though, for for you. Futurecast model here. We are staying dry throughout the day today. Going to enjoy that nice sunshine that's over the top of us. Stopping things at 3 a.m. tomorrow. We'll talk more about this coming up. That's going to be our chance to see the lunar eclipse tomorrow morning, and we might just have a good window to do it. Later into the day, though, things start to change. The cloud cover builds in toward central Washington. By the afternoon, rain shower activity into western Washington and over the Cascades. That rain builds in as we head Tuesday night into Wednesday. But look at the 7-day forecast. High temperatures hit the 50s today and tomorrow before cooling down into the 40s through the middle of the week. Similar story for Coeur d'Alene. And again, we're talking about 60 potential today and tomorrow in the Tri-Cities, where those temperatures drop just a bit to the mid to upper 50s as we head through the middle and end of the work week.
Good morning. Oil prices jumped as much as 8% and the Dow lost 500 points overnight. Iran is a major exporter of oil around the world and the supply could be disrupted. Every gas station, airline, and trucking company and consumer could feel this. Restaurant jobs are on the rise as Americans seek cheap comfort food. The upbeat sales made at U.S. restaurant industry was a rare bright spot for jobs, with restaurant payrolls ticking up 1% last year, adding about 108,000 jobs. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Well, Wall Street ended February bruised and battered. The Dow down 500 points Friday, hit by persistent worries about AI taking jobs and stubborn inflation. Well, home insurance rates have skyrocketed in recent years. David Sampson, the president and CEO of the American Property Casualty Insurance Association, says the three main factors driving up premiums are the cost of rebuilding, lawsuit abuse, and bad weather.
We're coming off the worst 5-year period in American history, the costliest 5-year period in American history of natural catastrophe losses. $522 billion in insured natural catastrophe losses over the last 5 years.
Sampson says simply clearing out brush from around a home can help prevent it from catching fire and thereby reducing insurance costs, and also improved building codes could help. Well, 2/3 of American consumers are experiencing tipping fatigue, up from 60% last year and 53% in 2023, according to Pop Menu. Over the last year, people have paid about $150 in tips on average, which they didn't feel were necessary. According to the survey, 64% have given gratuity even when they received poor service. Consumers also said they have added tips when they felt bad for a worker or if they wanted to avoid looking cheap. From the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King with your morning business report.
Okay, check this out. 2 people in Texas were saved after their hot air balloon collided with a cell tower, leaving them dangling nearly 1,000 feet above ground. First responders used ropes to safely remove the passengers from the hot air balloon basket. They lowered the passenger slowly back to solid ground using those ropes.
Yeah, those with a fear of heights turn away. Scary story there.
Oh my gosh, yeah, glad everyone's all right.
You bet.
Okay, with that, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Wake Up NonStop Local. You're watching NonStop Local. I'm Kalai Chalk. Breaking news this morning. Arson investigators are looking into what caused a fire on the South Hill overnight. The call came in 3:30 this morning. Fire crews were called out to that fire near 55th and Fisk. Officials say 2 cars were damaged, but crews were able to keep that fire from spreading. Spokane County Fire District 9 has received 3 new ambulances after several months of waiting. Leaders say the new ambulances arrived after 235 days of planning and coordination. They'll now outfit the vehicles for service, and District 9 says that the ambulances will boost emergency responses as the community grows.
With clear skies overnight, the heat that we got yesterday went right back out. Cold start to this morning. Get ready to scrape that windshield. 29 right now in Spokane, 27 in Coeur d'Alene, one of the few areas above freezing. Thanks to a little more cloud cover is the LC Valley. The good news is more sunshine on the way today will help those temperatures get back to the 50s for most of us. But we do have some changes on the way. By tomorrow night, the showers make a return. With how warm it is, we expect them to be rain showers, widespread showers by Wednesday, then some more hit and miss showers as we head through the rest of the week into next weekend.
Coming up on Wake Up Nonstop Local, a car fire on the South Hill, an arson investigation underway. The details straight ahead. Also this morning, U.S. military jets shot down by friendly fire. Pilots ejecting as their aircraft goes down. The investigation into how it happened.
You enjoyed the nice sunny weather of the weekend. I have good news for you, at least for today. More sunshine on the way for our Monday, but as we head throughout our Tuesday, some changes are coming. We'll talk about when the rain makes its return coming up.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun, and here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Kalai Chalk. Right now we're following news of a car fire on the South Hill. Here's what the scene looked like early this morning. Crews were called out to that fire on 55th and Fisk about 3:30 this morning. It's not clear how the car caught fire, but we do know arson investigators were on scene. That fire damaged a second car as well, but crews were able to keep it from spreading beyond that. Let's get a live look outside. It's a beautiful start to the day and a gorgeous look over Riverfront Park in downtown Spokane. With that, let's get to Justin Spinney, who tells us that we're going to need to get out and enjoy it because we're looking at some changes ahead later in the week.
No doubt. Beautiful morning, as you mentioned. Don't let it fool you, though. It is a cold start to the day out there. Most of us down into the 20s. Some of our coldest areas are some of the areas that are going to be warmest later into the day today. Looking at the Tri-Cities, it's 24 degrees there right now. It is freezing. Bundle bundle up before you head out the door, but get ready for temperatures that could reach 60 later into the day. Big temperature spreads, and that's due to clear skies. Similarly, it's pretty chilly in Spokane at 29 degrees, and we're also going to heat up into the 50s as we head later into the day today. I want to go ahead and talk about that satellite and radar. There are those clear skies most of us waking up to. The one exception down toward areas like the LC Valley, we do have a little bit of cloud cover over the top there, keeping that temperature just a little bit warmer to start things off this morning. But as we look at those high temperatures ahead, this yellow line is our average high temperature line. We're well above it today and into tomorrow. We get closer to that average line, though, as we head through the middle of the week with a bit of a cooling trend. Snow levels will also drop a bit as that happens, transitioning the mountains from rain to snow. As we look toward the Tri-Cities, we're also just above that average line today and tomorrow with highs in the 60s, getting back down to around average through the middle of the week, though, before a slight warming trend as we head toward this next weekend. But Kalai, we're tracking some showers that are headed our way tomorrow. We're also tracking our chances of seeing the lunar eclipse tomorrow morning coming up.
Okay, yeah, we got more on that ahead. Thanks, Justin. Now to breaking news. A fourth U.S. service member killed in action. This is coming from the U.S. Central Command, confirming on X that that person was injured during the initial attack and has now succumbed to injuries. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff gave an update on the Iran situation this morning from the Pentagon. NBC's Alice Barr has details from Washington, D.C.
This morning, the Pentagon confirming 3 U.S. Air Force fighter jets crashed in Kuwait, mistakenly shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses during active combat under Iranian attacks. All 6 American crew members ejected and were recovered safely. It comes amid growing violence in the Middle East, with Israel and Iranian-backed Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon exchanging fire, following this weekend's U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth weighing in.
This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it.
Lawmakers return to Washington tomorrow for the classified briefings many are demanding.
Combat operations continue at this time in full force.
Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in the Saturday strikes, and now 2 sources briefed on the matter tell NBC News the attacks were timed based on intelligence Khamenei would be at a meeting with senior leaders. As Iran strikes back, now 4 American service members are confirmed killed in action. U.S. officials tell NBC News they were part of an army unit based in Kuwait. 4 others were seriously wounded. President Trump mourning the losses while warning.
Sadly, there will likely be more.
The president told NBC News in a phone interview he decided to act because Iran was unwilling to say they would not have a nuclear weapon following weeks of negotiations. Reaction from Capitol Hill largely split on party lines.
I think the president has started a war of choice.
The mothership of terrorism is sinking.
Across this country, Iranian Americans hoping for freedom while protesters fear a spreading conflict. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Again, to clarify, 4 people now killed in that Iranian conflict, that being updated since Alice Barr filed that report. And also tensions flared in Bellevue after the U.S. airstrike on Iran when a man waved a gun at a group of people supporting the strike. Cell phone camera footage shows a man in the passenger seat of a car with what looks like a gun. One protester says he was pointing it at several people while yelling out the window. A former firefighter who killed his wife has been sentenced now to 25 years in prison. Former Camas Washougal Fire Battalion Chief Kevin West was sentenced for his wife's murder in January 2024. He had claimed his wife had a seizure and stopped breathing, but an autopsy revealed she died from strangulation and blunt force trauma. At his sentencing, his son asked the judge for leniency, while his daughter directly blamed him for the death of her mother.
You didn't just take my mom from me. You had the nerve to look me in the eyes days later and ask if I was relieved she was dead.
West was arrested in March of 2024 after an investigation revealed that he was having an affair at the time of his wife's death, as well as other incriminating factors. Now to new developments in that fatal stabbing at the Apple Tree Inn in North Spokane and that officer-involved shooting that left one of the suspects from the stabbing dead. Investigators say they located that suspect in the Emerson Garfield neighborhood in Spokane Wednesday. They say he ran toward a neighboring garage and confronted police with a gun, and that's when they shot and killed him. Once the gun was recovered, investigators say they confirmed that it was loaded. Since that incident, 2 other people have now been charged with second-degree murder in connection with the Apple Tree Inn stabbing. One of them is Elizabeth Whalen, making her first appearance in court Friday. Whalen's now being held on a $1 million bond. She's suspected of acting as a getaway driver during the stabbing. Her arraignment is set for tomorrow. Time for a check now at your Tri-Cities and Yakima headlines. Here's Lainey Erickson.
Good morning, I'm Lainey Erickson with your Tri-Cities and Yakima morning update. In Pasco, police investigating a death at Chiawana Park. A man found dead in a car submerged at the boat launch less than an hour before he was due in court as a defendant for day 5 of an ongoing child rape trial. Pasco police say they're currently investigating this as a homicide until evidence points otherwise. A fisherman spotted the car underwater in the boat launch around 8 Friday morning and called police. The car was pulled out of the water and police found the body of Jason Watts inside. His identity confirmed by Franklin County Coroner Curtis McGarry. In Ellensburg, a man is under arrest after he robbed a cashier at gunpoint. Police officers responded to reports of an armed robbery at the 1000 block of East University Way. The man ran away, but police quickly tracked him down and arrested him. No one was injured. The suspect now in custody and will be booked on 1 count of first-degree robbery, 2 counts of assault, unlawful possession of a firearm, and theft. The Tri-Cities getting global recognition in the world of endurance racing. The Ironman 70.3 Tri-Cities has been named the best run course in the world in the 2025 Ironman Athletes' Choice Awards. The event also ranked 3rd for overall satisfaction and 3rd for best swim course in North America based on feedback from about 30,000 athletes worldwide. The next race is scheduled for September 20th, 2026. For NonStop Local, I'm Lainey Erickson.
In other headlines this morning, the search for Nancy Guthrie enters day 30. The community gathered at a large Bring Her Home banner outside a Tucson TV station where Savannah Guthrie once worked. People have been writing messages and lighting candles.
Our hearts are in it, and she's always on our mind. So the candles right here, the heart we made, all the names on the candles, to me, it's showing hope, it's showing love, and it's showing humanity.
No one has heard from or seen Nancy Guthrie since she went missing from her home February 1st. Guthrie family is offering $1 million to anyone with information that leads to her discovery. Well, the late Catherine O'Hara was honored posthumously at the SAG Awards last night, winning Best Female Actor in a Comedy Series for her role on The Studio.
The iconic actress has been in a number of classics from Home Alone to Schitt's Creek. Seth Rogen accepted the award on O'Hara's behalf, telling the audience she would have been honored to receive it from fellow performers.
And Rogen shared stories about O'Hara's generosity and her talent on set. The studio also won Best Ensemble in a Comedy Series. Nice to see her recognized.
One of the best, well deserved.
Still to come here on Wake Up Nonstop Local, the Gonzaga men losing this weekend to St. Mary's. Now they have a week to think about that loss and get back at it with the WCC tournament ahead. We got the details in your Sports Minute.
Even though it's a nice day, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to weather. Sunshine today, but changes on the way, and I'm sure some of you are wondering, hey, are we going to be able to see that lunar eclipse tomorrow? We'll talk more about that after the break.
And get out and enjoy the weather while it's here. Here's a live look from Quelchin Golf Course. People eager to hit the links can do so starting today. Tee time, first tee time, starting in just 20 minutes from now at 8 o'clock this morning. Esmeralda also opens today. As for the other 2 city courses, Indian Canyon and Downriver, they're still yet to be determined on when they'll open for season. All right, here's a live look at downtown Spokane. And now to this, caught on camera, watching the moments a Florida man was rescued after being stuck in shoulder-deep mud. The 36-year-old had been missing since Valentine's Day. He apparently disappeared after being depressed about a breakup. Rescuers say he survived without food and water for several days and then got stuck in the mud and was pulled to safety, flown to a trauma center in critical condition, but is expected to recover. In the Weather Center now with Justin Spinney, and you might want to set your alarm a little bit early tomorrow because you've got a chance to see a lunar eclipse, Justin.
Yeah, wake up the time Cly and I do, and you'll have a decent chance to see it, I think, across the region. It is going to be early, though, dark and early tomorrow. So let's talk about that lunar eclipse. First of all, why it happens. We're headed back to junior high astronomy class here, where we've got us on the Earth here, and we're circling around the sun. The moon is circling around us, and sometimes things just so happen to line up that we get in the way of the sun's path to the moon, and as a result of that, we cast a shadow right over the moon, and it makes it look like a red blood moon, and that's what we're going to see into tomorrow morning. If we were talking about a solar eclipse, the Earth and the moon would be flipped in this diagram here, where the moon would be blocking the sun from the Earth, but no, we're talking lunar eclipse tomorrow morning, and so we'll be looking for that red moon right between the hours of about 3 and 4 a.m., 3:04 a.m. to just after 4 a.m. It's going to last about 58 minutes, that totality is. We should have a decent chance to see it. The question becomes, are we going to get clouded out? We've had so many cool astronomical events that we haven't been able to see across the region just because it's been too cloudy. I think we may get lucky tomorrow morning, and it's going to be mighty close. Right now, I think we're going to have a decent window. This is for Spokane, where that cloud cover, it's not going to be cloudless, but it's also not going to be full cloud cover. We should at least get some glimpses of it. You'll have a chance to take some pictures, and hey, if you get those pictures, send them our way. Few more clouds likely toward areas like the Tri-Cities. Still give it a shot if you're willing to wake up that early in the morning. Pretty rare event here to get this, so should be fun to keep an eye out for it. As we look at the high temperatures for today, though, across the region, not many clouds at all out there. Looking at a high of 53 in Spokane, 52 over toward Coeur d'Alene. Few areas we're on 60-degree watch. Don't think we'll quite do it, but we'll be close in the LC Valley at 59 degrees. The Tri-Cities, I think we might just do it. 60 there, 60 as we look down into Hermiston. Ellensburg, Moses Lake, we're going to be in the mid-50s today, topping out at 56. Similar conditions into the Okanagan Valley. Once again, as we go overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, similar to what we saw last night, it's going to get cold pretty quickly, although our low temperatures may be a few degrees above what we have this morning, down to 34 in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, right down to freezing in Sandpoint at 32 degrees there in Bonner County, 30 degrees into northeast Washington and Colville. Add 10 degrees to that for the Tri-Cities. We're going to stay well above the freezing line tomorrow. It's looking like at 40 degrees. Quite the difference from this morning, a 15-degree warm-up. My goodness. Taking a look at that Futurecast model throughout this afternoon, we're talking pretty clear skies. We're going to get that nice sunshine. The clouds that do move in likely to be those wispy or upper-level cirrus clouds, so we'll keep an eye on those, but shouldn't affect our temperature all that much. As we continue into 3 a.m., that's eclipse time. Still pretty clear out there. That's why we have a decent shot at seeing that eclipse. Then as we continue later into the day, the clouds do start to move in on Tuesday. As we get into the afternoon, rain showers toward western Washington and over the Cascades, and then that event finally gets to us as we head overnight and into our Wednesday morning. Wednesday in particular looks like it's going to be a pretty wet day across central eastern Washington and up into North Idaho. Plenty of rain also for northern Oregon. Let's take a look at the snow levels with those showers on the way. It's going to be plenty high enough where even at the mountain passes, we're probably going to start with rain. It'll be a gradual shift from rain to snow as those snow levels start to drop as we head into our Wednesday. And around Wednesday night, I think, is when many of those passes, especially the lower passes like Snoqualmie, will finally make that transition from rain over to some accumulating snow. Once we do make that change, get ready for winter driving conditions at those mountain passes. We'll see those snow levels stay fairly low through the rest of the week, but the showers will become more scattered through the rest of the week. Let's get you into the 7-day forecast, starting with Spokane. High temperatures in the 50s today into tomorrow before falling into the 40s through the middle and end of the work week. Back into the 50s we go for this weekend, where we lose an hour of sleep. Down into the 40s also for the middle of the week in Coeur d'Alene, with those scattered showers continuing all the way into this next weekend. For the Tri-Cities and Yakima, again, 60s for the next couple days in the Tri-Cities, upper 50s into Yakima before that slight dip in our high temperatures as we head into Wednesday.
The Gonzaga men have the week off as they await to play in the WCC tournament. I'm Austin Getz with this SWX Sports Minute. The Zags will have to chew on that loss to St. Mary's for quite a while, but it didn't hurt their seed to the WCC tournament. The Zags already had the 1 seed in hand before tip-off, and they'll play for the first time a week from tonight in the semifinals. Similar feelings for the Gonzaga women, who fell on the road in overtime to Portland to close out the regular season, but they were locked into the number 2 seed before that game even played, and will also not play until next Monday in the semis. The Washington State Cougars will play this week. The women as the 9 seed in the tournament. They play on the first day of games at the Orleans Arena. Thursday they'll lace them up against Seattle U. Friday, after a bye through the first round, the 8 seed Cougar men will start their run in Vegas. They'll play the winner of Pepperdine and Portland. And tonight's the final night of the regular season for the Big Sky Conference. League champion Idaho women hosting Eastern Washington in Moscow at 6 o'clock, while the Vandal and Eagle men face off in Cheney at 6 o'clock in a game you can see live on SWX. I'm Austin Getz, and that's the Sportsman.
Investigators are on the South Hill right now looking into what caused an early morning car fire on 55th and Fisk. That's your top story in Morning Rush. Crews were called out to that fire about 3:30 this morning. Arson investigators were on scene. Flames damaged a second car as well, but crews kept them from spreading beyond that. And new this morning, a 4th service member has been killed in the U.S.-Iran conflict. The U.S. Central Command posted that death, confirming it on X. And also confirmed Kuwaiti air defenses accidentally shooting down 3 American fighter jets during active combat. Central Command says the F-15 Strike Eagle jets were flying in support of Operation Epic Fury against Iran when Kuwaiti forces mistakenly shot them down. All 6 aircrew members ejected safely. Analysts say the war in Iran could push gas prices higher across the U.S. Prices for U.S. crude is up about $8 to $75 a barrel. Analysts say that jump could mean gas prices rise more than 25 cents a gallon for drivers. And the future of the FIFA Men's World Cup match in Seattle is uncertain after the United States and Israel attacked Iran. Iran was scheduled to face Egypt in Seattle June 26th. President of Iran's Soccer Federation told the Associated Press he doesn't know now if the national team will be allowed to play in the U.S. And a man is under arrest in Ellensburg after police say he robbed a cashier at gunpoint. They say the man ran away. Officers quickly found him and arrested him. No one was hurt. That suspect's now been booked on first-degree robbery, 2 counts of assault, theft, and unlawful possession of a firearm. And also in Pasco, police are investigating the death of an accused child rapist after finding his body in a sunken car. The vehicle and the body of Jason Watts were found submerged at a Chiawana Park boat launch around 8 Friday morning. Police are treating this as a homicide. And lawmakers in Washington state have passed a new transportation budget for 2026. The House plan allocates more than $11 million for upgrades to State Route 240 and State Route 244 in the Red Mountain Corridor, both those projects in the Richland area. Projects aim to improve traffic flow and safety.
Getting you that final forecast. High temperature, it's going to be a comfortable one today, getting up to 53 degrees in Spokane. Winds are going to stay relatively light throughout the day, sustained at around 5 to 10 miles per hour at the most. It's light and breezy is what we'll call it. And we do expect to stay dry across the region through the day today. Something different, though, in the forecast for tomorrow. So enjoy the sunshine today, because by tomorrow night, the showers are taking the place of those sunny skies. And if I can, give a quick shout out to Uniontown, Washington. Me and my friends have a tradition to go to the sausage feed. That's always the first Sunday in March since college. We got to go yesterday. Here's a picture of all of us staring into the sun yesterday, but we ate a lot of sausage and had some wonderful company along the way. An unhealthy amount of sausage, probably, but it tasted great. So shout out to our friends in Uniontown. We had a lot of fun there yesterday, and thanks to everyone who said hi. It was fun.
Yeah, and I have further questions, like how many sausages did you eat?
I finished 6 sausages, I believe. That was my only meal yesterday, and I still do not feel hungry.
All right, well, if you're hungry for some golf, we're going to end on this. Qualchin Golf Course this morning. Tee times opening in just 4 minutes from now, 8 o'clock. Also, remember, you can check out other tee times as well, because there's one other city course that's open. And also, thanks so much for joining us here on SWX, our extended wake-up show, now going from 7 to 8 a.m. here on SWX, our YouTube page, and our online digital platforms as well.